Ready, kids?
Aye, Captain!
I can't hear you! Oh!
Ahoy there, mateys. It's time to set sail on another episode of Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast. I'm your captain, Jimbob Shorts, and tonight, Luis and I are hosting our good buddy Ghost from My Thier Eye podcast, Talk at the Tavern. He also does that news thing that he calls C.U.N.T, and some other stuff, man. Ghost is one of the coolest guys I have met since starting all these podcasts, man. I'm over there hanging out on his Talk at the Tavern quite a few times. You guys got to pay to check those out, but I totally recommend it. And like, just everything in general that Ghost does is super awesome. Ghost is a super humble dude and just one of the coolest people I've met, I think, in the podcast realm since I've been doing it. And this episode is one of the main episodes I was sad to lose when the computer crash happened. We also filmed this one back in April. I believe we actually filmed it on April 13th. But, like, of course, we lost it with all the computer crash and everything. And I was super sad because this is probably one of the best episodes I feel I've ever been a part of. So full of laughs and serious stuff and just ideas and just all kinds of good things, man. So I am super excited to finally get to release this episode to you guys. Of course, you know, anything and everything that comes to dealing with all of this can be found over there at unconstitutionalawakening.com, your home for everything us, man. That's where you'll find links to get back to all of our fantabulous guests. You'll find links to watch, listen, anything when it comes to our episodes. Man, you can even find stuff when we've been on other people's shows, links to get back to all of our social medias, some news, and just so much more, man. We're always trying to keep it all hooked up, and it's all right there on the homepage, man. You can just navigate your way around there and find all kinds of cool things, man. So and shoot, you know, while you're there, if you need to catch up on the latest episode, it's totally right there on the website. What more could you ask for? As well as a link to go get you some sweet UA merch, man. We have got shirts, we've got stickers, we've got hats, we've got phone wallets, we've got all kinds of random things. Like, I don't even know everything that's honestly in there. There's just all kinds of good stuff. So go get you something, man. Help support the show, because this is 100% self-funded, and we totally appreciate, you know, each and every one of you that support us just through listening and watching. But hey, it wouldn't hurt to you know, get yourself some shirts or stickers and stuff to help show your support, man. We definitely appreciate it so much. And you can also check out our friends in Liberty, Kirk Elliott, PhD, Peachy Key Creations, Ammo Can Survival, Brett Pike with Classical Learner and Homeschools Connected, as well as Pure Pet Wellness. As I've said before many times in the past, man, these are all fantabulous people offering a fantabulous alternative to the status quo, man. You know, like, well, let's face it, folks, everything that is corporate owned and commercialized and stuff is absolute garbage. Like, these are people making real products and trying to make real strides to make a better future for all of us. So, man, go give them some support too, man, because they're people I appreciate, and shoot, I'll appreciate it too, man. So y'all get on over there and check out all that good stuff. And man, I'm super excited about this episode, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. So I'm gonna weigh anchor with my mouth running here, and let's go in here and get all started with it. Yes. Okay. Ahoy there, Ghost. How you been, buddy? It's been a while since we talked to you.
Pretty good, pretty good. Luis is frozen and he's blinking. So maybe someone should call 911 and check on him.
All this does is drive some of my theories here. Like sometimes I wonder if Luis is real or if he's just something the AI has created and put in front of us to join us for episodes.
I'm the AI underground that you speak of. Hi. You know my truth now. How does it feel to speak to me? Tell me. Ask me a question.
Is your real name Dan?
No. That means do anything now.
Oh, it could be.
Oh my
Depends on
Lord.
who's asking and paying, right?
Luis, we hadn't really seen you all week there, buddy. How you doing? Everything all right?
Yeah. It's just the schedules have been just conflicting with each other. I'm working to make it more adjusted.
Ours has been sporadic here since I've added the new feature of letting people choose their date with that awesome calendar that our friends Legs and Buffalo showed me. So it's all right though. I like it. I like having given the opportunity for people to choose. It helped me get Robert over here on here. He was able to choose his own date there. He dug that.
Yeah, for those people, give them all the times imaginable. But it worked out perfectly. You got him to say things that I'm sure other people didn't get to see, and we need to cut out those sections so people understand there's a human side to him other than the side that's fighting the good fight.
This is true. So, I know we've been hanging out over there with you, Ghost, on the tavern there a couple times since the last time you've been over here. But how's things been going with all the show ventures and such you got going, man?
Dude, they're going great. Yeah, the tavern's always a blast. That we do that on Friday nights, and you never know what fucking chaos you're going to get into. You know how Luis has been booted because he fired up Dan and Chat GPT and had to call in, and it was a train wreck. But we made it work, and it was always fun. And Kyle Rainey is taking a little bit from the Big Dumb Podcast, taking a little bit of a break from podcasting. He was one of the regulars, so we have a new regular that joins us now, and it's just it's a good time. And then Ryan and I do the Conspiracy Underground news team. If you can catch the actual name in there, I don't know if I need to say it, but it's cunt. And we record that on Mondays, and we take call-ins, and just have fun looking at the news and getting weird with it. So then the regular show is always fun, always booking guests, and it's like a full-time job within a full-time job. Yeah,
I will say this has become a wee bit more than a hobby, but at the same time, I still get gung ho about having exciting things to talk about with exciting people, and love return guests the most. Of course, that's always my favorite part because we can talk more about Lord knows what. So.
Oh yeah.
You want to talk about an impeding and upcoming collapse? Want me to share a screen real quick before? So do you watch? So you see an absurd number on the screen? It affects a lot of people around the country. So I think I can reveal this number openly. So let me show you.
I think it's open.
All right. Let me see now. Hopefully it doesn't fail. Computer, don't fail me.
So when Luis crashes, we'll
Can you see that?
Hold on. Oh, there it is. He's there. Oh, we can see it. Good Lord.
What the fuck is this from?
So, student loans.
Oh.
So I already paid them back. But, they want interest. An insane amount in interest. And I'm going to fight it. So I stopped paying it a few months ago. So look, they sent me this beautiful message.
Yeah,
just 4 hours ago. Oh yeah, I'm fighting them. Fighting them. I'm disputing it.
Yeah, my shit's paid off. You ain't getting no more money. Fuck you.
You're probably not the only one.
I paid off my original debt. My loan was $67,400. I paid it off, or 60, whatever. I paid it off. I paid off thousands more actually than that. So I actually paid my debt. All right, enough done. It's a student loan. I declare, and everybody with a functioning brain cell in the Western world declares, student loans are interest free. So
yeah, baby.
Fight back by saying, "Go fuck yourselves. I already paid you." I actually paid my debt. So the interest is just a fabrication of the state in order to enslave people and then make it much easier to get more recruits in the military, which that's not even working anymore.
Why don't you go fuck yourself,
Revolution
dickhead?
and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race.
I mean, Neptune's
You
not
two are the
here, so I'm just gonna have to
soundboards,
say it for
competing
him.
Soundboards. You're competing soundboards now.
Yeah, it's like dueling banjos.
It's good though. I like it. I love it. I've only run across a few folks with soundboards, so the more people I find with them, the more awesome I think it is, because you never know what sounds we can pull out of our hat.
Oh
So
yeah.
you already paid off your debt. Could you say how much it was at the time and everything? Your student loan debt?
Who?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
I never
Then you
had
paid it
student
off.
loan. No, I never had student loan debts.
Oh, okay.
No,
cool.
no,
No,
I was saying though, I imagine there's other people that are receiving the same said email along, with having the same issue. You know what I'm saying? Like paid it off, but yet there's all this extra interest that they're trying to haunt them with. That is, I will agree, is just a complete creation of things.
They raised it to 15%. They went from 12 when I stopped paying to 15. I'm like, at this point, what you can keep raising the number. I like keep raising it, because it's gonna make it more ludicrous when we go to court. I had to go to court, and I'm gonna go to court, and you're not gonna win. What are you gonna win? Interest over what? I already paid you the original debt. It's a student loan. I had no extra asset that I was utilizing in the meantime.
I learned more useful skills in the field and from YouTube than I ever learned at any of the extended schooling that I did.
Yeah, the only college credits I got was from the military.
I thought it would be cool to do culinary school for some reason, and did when I was in Buffalo, and like, but then after that, like that still doesn't even prepare you for anything you have to actually face in a kitchen. So it's a whole different
No, I
scenario
mean,
when you
it's
get
a
in the
mix of
field.
getting some training in terms of the kitchens, getting some training, not like, and then going into apprenticeship with these places.
Speaking
It's
of
just
food,
to get training.
now,
Bring-
Luis, I know you're Puerto Rican, but I made from scratch tacos birria like about 3 weeks ago.
And that's the kind of recipe I would love to get from you.
Dude, talk about knocking your fucking socks off. That consomme, holy shit.
I have not tried to do that.
Oh, Ryan had always talked about them. And so I'd watch videos. And finally one day I just like, all right, I'm doing it. I'm getting the dried chilies. I'm going to just I watched enough videos to kind of know how to do it. Seared my meat and then put it in. I used beef broth instead of just water because they add beef bouillon. So I was like, just use beef broth. And then did all that, then blended up all the veggies and peppers and everything that you put in there while it's simmering, and add that back. Oh my God, I will never eat white white girl tacos ever again.
No more white people taco night is what you're
No
saying?
white people taco night. Nope.
I agree with that wholeheartedly too. Like I quit white people taco night a long time ago too, because I was showed how to make multiple dishes.
What is this? What is this weird thing people are calling white people taco night? What is
You
this?
know, like you just ground beef, taco seasoning, and then put them in like a flour tortilla or a hard tortilla.
I had that once for a few friends. They were cooking some tacos. This was years ago, and I was like, wow, I didn't know you could fuck this up. I kind of told him, I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
This has no taste.
Like every white person in America knows what a white person taco is. It's like, oh, Taco Tuesday. Oh, it's a taco in the form of a burrito, or it's a hard taco. And yeah, it's just ground beef mixed with a taco seasoning pack. When you make your own
no. That's the thing. They didn't even use the proper taco seasoning pack. If you're gonna use one, there's like 4 different brands.
Yeah.
All of them are somewhat decent. The only thing is you got to add like some onions to it.
Oh yeah.
Peppers, like something extra, and maybe add a bit of salt depending on the type, because it is sometimes missing salt, and also the amounts matter. If it's 2 pounds and you're adding 1 pound seasoning for 2 pounds, what?
My ex-wife was Spanish, but
did she have a big butt?
Yes.
Okay.
She absolutely hated onions. And so when we would do
Really?
things with her family,
What about
her
peppers?
her dad would always make separate, like a separate dish that was the same as everybody else's but didn't have onions. Like he fucking baby girl her with this shit and whatever, that's his daughter. But like like I used to enjoy his cooking and stuff so much because he cooks authentic Spanish meals and stuff like that because his his mom was from Mexico and his dad was actually from Spain, so like there was always some really awesome meals going on when we would go over there for holidays and stuff out to New Mexico and whatnot. And like I was always learning how to cook that stuff, but the first time I had a taco night with them, I immediately, and I was in my 20s still, but I was immediately like, what is this garbage my mother's been feeding me my entire life? Like these aren't tacos. Like what the hell? I feel robbed.
What part of New Mexico?
Oh man, we were in we were on the hill in Albuquerque that you could look
Okay.
out and look over the top, like from the front porch of her grandparents' house, the house that her dad grew up in and she spent a lot of time in or whatever. You would look across the valley. You could see New Mexico across the valley and look at the mountain and shit over in the
Oh,
distance. Like
nice.
it was
Yeah, that's the
it was
start of
a
the Rockies.
it was a super awesome place to visit. Like there was I got to see like Santa Fe and like all we I rode motorcycles up the mountain and shit with her uncles and whatnot. Like there was a whole
Nice.
bunch of cool stuff out there. But like
Were you ever out there during their hot air balloon festival?
yes, we
Yeah.
got to go for that one year. That was really amazing. On top of like the winters are weird because like it's cold enough to snow and it might snow at night, but during the day it's back up to kind of like desert summer temperatures. You know what
Mhm.
I mean? So it's not
Yeah.
really, it doesn't
I,
really stick.
I was stationed on the eastern side of New Mexico,
Okay.
over in Clovis.
And when we went one year, we stayed there. We stayed at her cousin's instead of her grandparents, and her cousin lived in a house that was a whole ass neighborhood built at the base of a dormant volcano. And the entire time I'm there, all I could think is I was like what the fuck? What if this thing decides to wake the fuck up? Like
Yeah.
whose idea was it to build an entire neighborhood at the base of a volcano? Like I'm
Oh,
mind
you mean
boggled at
every
this.
civilization in the past few thousand years?
And
I
Pompeii?
just I just
No,
like
so okay, so there's a very simple reason, Jim. There's a very simple reason actually. There's actually
okay,
three.
all right,
All right. Number one, the ground is extremely fertile.
okay.
Number two, the weather, because it's so high up, is optimal, less bugs, overall more hygienic, just optimal weather. It's example, the majority of the Mexican people live in the plateau
Okay.
where there's less bugs and everything. They don't live at ground level. They live
Sure.
almost a mile high.
Sure.
And number three, is the views, man. It's just
That's
the
why
natural views.
that's why Idaho makes the greatest potatoes.
Sure. I mean,
Oh,
Oh, Idaho is all volcano country?
oh yeah, old volcanoes and stuff. Yeah, it's
how
right.
do
Oh,
you,
okay. I didn't know.
Yeah,
how
it's right
how
above
do you
Yellowstone.
sleep at night though, knowing that one day that volcano could decide to not be dormant anymore. Dormant doesn't mean extinct. Dormant doesn't mean kaput.
Hey, Yellowstone's
how do
been
you go to
dormant for how long? And I lived there out in Idaho as a little kid, and we had volcano drills, earthquake
Exactly.
drills.
It doesn't
It was like,
matter.
if that fucker wakes up, America's fucked anyway. So it doesn't matter how close you live to it. You're either going to die instantly or you're going to die from a slow ash fallout.
They estimated the worst case scenario, half the population of the US dies.
Yeah.
According to the explosion base, if I can make it to Tristan's house, we have a little bit of a chance of having something.
Maybe.
Surviving?
Yeah.
I mean, where's
Minor.
so
He lives near
Yellowstone?
he lives near the ocean.
Start digging a cave.
Yellowstone. The thing is, even after, so this is the thing. If the world ever gets a catastrophic event of such a scope, I think I would go with where's the bomb landing? Oh, really? In our state, in our city? All right, I'm gonna run to it as fast as I can. I'm gonna be right below it. Because if a nuclear bomb hits New York, the rest of the world is gonna get fucked. So, take me out when the bomb goes off. I don't care.
It's funny you mention that because Ryan and I bring this up on Conspiracy Underground a lot, that we're so desensitized to so much that goes on a daily basis. And he'll be like, A nuke could go off in New York City as we're recording cunt. And
well, my feed would go off.
Yeah.
Look, a flashing light would go through the window. It's like, oh, what's that light? And then like 2 seconds later.
But it would be to the point where I'd be like, hold on, Ryan, let me look out my window. Let me see if I see anything. If I don't see anything, we have a little bit to record. If you don't hear from me, I'm fucking dead. And that's it. You know, we're so desensitized that, okay, you know, that's a laugh. That is a laughing topic now that, oh, if a nuke goes off, you'll blah, 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 blah. And it's like, wow, we are really desensitized because that's a fucking catastrophic problem.
But that's what they wanted.
Right.
That's what the central planners want.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why it's always been fear porn, fear-based news media since forever.
Do you think the phrase central planners make more sense to the average person, or that makes them even more confused?
I think if you say central planners, it sounds more and makes more sense than saying the Illuminati or the fucking deep state or whatever. Because the moment you start telling people, oh, the deep state this or the Illuminati or the New World Order.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, I think central planners makes more sense for people because they're like, who's the central planners? Well, bankers.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Bankers and pharma.
Bankers, pharma, military.
Mm-hmm.
And the average world leaders, you know.
Yep.
So you would say maybe under 5,000 people control the majority of the functions of this planet.
Mm-hmm. And
Under
we're the only
5,000.
species that pays to be here.
Well, I think the cats kind of pay a bill. I mean, they have to love us. Cats and dogs.
Ugh, cats.
The cats don't love us, bro. Like, listen, I've had a bunch of cats.
Yeah.
Cats want to kill us. They're aliens.
I am listen, I'm a cat fan. Like, I've had multiple cats and I've had some pretty awesome cats, but they still like they don't love you like a dog loves you. Like, I out of all the cats I've ever had, I've never had one that is a
They
dog.
don't have a tongue built for giving you a nice, friendly, warm, fluffy kiss on the cheek or whatever. It's rough.
You're
or a dog kisses you. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, cool. Doggy kisses.
You can walk out. You can walk out the door and come in 5 minutes later or 5 weeks later, and your dog's going to have the same reaction.
No, it might have a stronger reaction. But I discovered that part of the reason dogs react that way is because time goes faster for them.
Sure.
And it comes in the sense that for a dog to see TV, it has to be over 75 frames per second. Otherwise, they're seeing literally lines and things happening in pictures. Yep.
Dude, my coonhound, he watches TV. He'll like literally sit there and just watch
pictures, but it looks like pictures that are moving. So like to them, with a TV that you're watching, unless it's running at over 75 frames per second, they're not really enjoying it. So you need a high frame rate TV for them to really witness what TV looks like for you.
I'm gonna part of me is gonna disagree because I used to have a pit and golden retriever.
Oh no, they can still see the pictures. It's just they don't see it as active.
All right. So I used to have
the concept is fluidity. It looks like janky to them.
I used to have a pit and a golden retriever that we ended up like constantly letting them watch Animal Planet because the pit, especially, man, he would get up and he would react to like the puppies on the screen, and like he would like try to interact with animals on the screen and shit while Animal Planet was on, and it'd just be like, what?
No, they can see TV.
Is going
it's
on.
Just the clarity and the fluidity that we experience is not what they experience. They experience a janky looking thing. So for them, if that's all they know, that's all they'll enjoy to know. It's like our concept of Pong in the 70s. The people that actually witnessed when Pong came to be, which honestly, I don't know that many that age that I've ever asked them that question. I should ask them if they have that experience of, hey, do you remember when Pong came out? Well, like, because they were in their 20s and they're like, okay, that was interesting. So that's an interesting thing in history. It's like when video games started to come into mainstream, people's perception of movement on screens, we collectively started to understand how different people perceive speeds of objects in motion and other interactive structures like these screens differently. We don't experience it the same. There's some people that literally see at a faster frame rate than others.
Do you think that walruses are smarter than cows?
Honestly, I think the walrus by evolutionary standards has to be smarter than the cow. The walrus survives.
What about a sea cow? I'm a manatee.
Sea lions are
Oh, a
smart.
manatee. I'm a manatee.
I don't think manatees are that smart. I think they were just like they just almost nothing can eat them. Except a sperm whale.
I adopted one.
Probably like a
for a
chocolate
year.
for a sperm whale. It's like chocolate for a sperm whale. A giant chocolate bar. It's literally a giant. It's not a sea cow. It's a chocolate bar for a sperm whale.
Oh, did you come down here from Hershey? No, I live in Florida. I'm just gonna eat the lettuce off the bottom of the bay.
Oh man, I will say this year around here in the South Side, you know, more so even so that people have finally, I guess, officially given up on Winnie the Flu and all that good stuff. Like we got all kinds of good stuff coming up for the summer months around here, just like popping back up, and things that were canceled years ago and been canceled multiple years in a row coming back. So it's good to actually see a lot of that
I'm seeing it here
Lo-
too. People going back outside.
Mhm.
local touristy type stuff. Like, you know, like all these small towns around here out in the sticks have, you know, different festivals each month and stuff like that that have been going on for, you know, 50 plus years, and they're finally kicking them back up. I dig stuff like that. It's also an opportunity for my wife's company
It's
to go
community building
make some
as
money.
well.
So
It's community building. I think that's one of the most important things. I just sent you an article in the chat
haven't
about this individual. Like, this is the reality. We are overpaying for housing as a collective. Obviously,
Yes.
there's categories and so on, but these environments are inflated in value by an artificially created demand in many cities. If you look at the actual home price in normal cities like St. Louis, I know St. Louis doesn't have the best reputation for other things, but at the same time, St. Louis housing prices are actually modest. They're normal. You can get a house that's a fixer-upper for under $150,000, maybe even way cheaper depending where you go. That should exist nationwide.
So
Well, I bought my house with the GI Bill, or not GI Bill, the
government
VA,
program.
the VA home loan program. Now it was a ranch. I had to pass so many, you know, jump through hoop type shit. Move in ready. Bought it for $150,000, and
Nice.
they're
That's
saying
cheap.
it's worth almost $250,000 now.
And that's the thing. It's like my friend was also looking for a house, and they're gonna look for again. I just told them, look, stay in Florida, wait for the housing market to crash. Florida's gonna get hit hard.
Yep.
Majority of Florida is overpriced as fuck. Like half of Florida is worthless.
And fuck Ron DeSantis.
I mean, comparatively to the rest of the governors, he's better.
Because fuck them, that's why.
But yeah, sure, because he has passed stupid laws that he shouldn't have passed, and
Well, he just violated everyone's First Amendment. You cannot protest after dusk.
Oh, that's right. That just happened. That was
Mhm.
him or the Senate. Who was it?
And we're also supposed to notify
literally
and
just happened this
send a
week.
copy of the record of anything that we talk about that has to deal with Florida politics.
Wait, what? Could you repeat that again? Can you find the article? I'd like to see it, but can you repeat it?
If you want to do any kind of journalistic or podcasting conversations about the politics of Florida, you are supposed to send the transcript to the Florida government before you're allowed to release it.
Okay, so for that,
Fuck that.
How do we print this in text? Do we
Just take a picture.
No.
I got a
Do we
picture
do
I
like
can
the
send him.
Scantron? No, like the Scantron. I'm printing it visually for the machine. That's what I would say to any government in the United States that would dare ask for that level of transcription for them.
Dude,
What the fuck?
the more and more I look into governments, the more and government and okay, I went from being a Q-tard to a Trump supporter to pretty much almost a fucking anarchist at this point. The government can go fuck themselves. If anybody thinks the government's going to help you and not lie to you, you're fucking high. And I want to be able to smoke what you're smoking.
I mean, just like, dude, that's beautiful.
Notice more and more people are becoming more of the concept of anarchy, and
So-
then I go into
Like,
but what type of
would
anarchy do you
consider
subscribe to? By the
I've
way,
got
what
an
type of
idea.
Anarchy do you subscribe
constitutional anarchy.
to? So could you
If that
describe
is an
it?
actual thing.
Describe it if you could. Constitutional.
Follow the Constitution to its T. Government should be small, shouldn't be in everybody's life. Leave me the fuck alone. You just make sure we're safe.
Just
other than
reset.
that-
You're saying completely reset most of the things.
Yeah, reset everything. Fuck big government.
Have you ever read?
Ayn Rand.
No, the Anti-Federalist Papers.
I have not the anti or the Federalist Papers.
No.
What's
The
anti?
Anti-Federalist. So there's two sets out there. There are the Federalist Papers,
Okay, I know of them.
and there are the Anti-Federalist Papers.
I've never heard. This is the first time hearing about them.
There were
What-
two separate groups during two large separate groups during the signing of the Constitution, one of which was called the Society of Cincinnati. The Society of Cincinnati wanted a bunch of they wanted things worded in such a way that they could eventually obtain exactly what happened today. Like, in our modern time, where the anti-federalists, people like Patrick Henry, and there's a few more of them in there that were like, no, this is gonna turn into tyranny. Like it was people like them, Patrick Henry and others that were so insistent on the Second Amendment because of the way the Federalists were, in the Society of Cincinnati, were on their way to turning it into something tyrannical, at the point that it is today. And it's great to see that it was split in two different ways when you actually get an opportunity to find these and read into these. I used to have a link that I shared with everybody. I'll find it again because it's a Google Doc that I just publicly share.
You did
And
videos about some of these things before.
I
You
did
should
videos
do
about some of these things
exactly on
before.
that part again.
Because-
refresh because it's so relevant right now.
Because, well, and this upsets people because I'm always like, well, George Washington really just wanted to be king, and they're like, what? And I'm just like, well, when you see what the Society of Cincinnati was actually after, like that, that's
So it
they
wasn't
want-
true that he is the one that said that. It was the opposite. He
Yeah.
just made up that story, so he looked.
He made up a lot. Like he made up a whole lot.
No.
Like
What did George Washington really make up that for
I mean, it's
sure?
not really, I guess, like him making up a whole lot. It's just like the story. There's a lot of stories about him that are just complete, absolute garbage. Like
What's the biggest one that you know of?
Was he the one with the cherry tree?
That's a load of shit too. Like that never happened.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
that's a great example and stuff. But they teach you that in school. Like that's an actual thing.
No, or Isaac Newton's thing about he discovered gravity because an apple hit his head.
And
Like,
they
what?
teach you that in
No.
school. Like that's an
You know
actual
what you should teach in
thing.
school? That he was the
I'll just teach magnetism.
60-year-old virgin. That man never had sex and had horrible interpersonal relationships, and that like he was a flawed mathematician.
He was also
that worked for the government.
He was
Do you
also
think
an
he was a chronic
alchemist. He was
masturbator?
also an alchemist prior to doing all that other stuff. Like he was really big into alchemy as well.
I think he was a chronic masturbator as well.
I think it might have
Quite
been also
plausible.
maybe he had no thing to use, and maybe that was it.
Oh, so he was a eunuch.
Borderline, maybe.
Hmm.
And that's why he was so mad at women. He couldn't do it.
A new definition to literally punching your clown. You don't even have shit down there. You're just beating the shit out of it.
I mean, you never know. It actually could have been the cause. I had a friend.
Gravity.
She dated a guy like that, and he was a hedge fund manager. He was rich as fuck, so he was hyper motivated to fuck the world. And they can do other things. They can't use that for much, but
Wait, so when they
motivates people to be also ruthless, crazy.
So when you
people.
turn someone into a eunuch, they want to fuck the world.
Yes, because they can't.
Is there
fuck
is there a sexuality for this? Is this like the pansexuality thing, or is this like
No, it's just called
Oh.
transgender. Cut your dick off.
I,
Okay. there's
Sorry.
there's different frameworks. No, I always say I know because I know a few people that are trans.
I mean, I do too, but
There's levels to that. you
Yes.
know?
If that's your thing, do it. I don't give a
Yeah.
fuck. I honestly don't.
even my trans friends are like, look, these people that are being publicized
Oh,
are
the ones
fucking
that are
nuts.
going crazy. Yes.
Like-
yeah.
And the people, the thing is, the real trans community is like, what the fuck is going on? We just
And
wanna be
the gay
left alone.
community.
What is going on? Oh, the gay community is like, fuck you.
Yeah.
You're ruining everything now. Like they're like, remember, all the gays rule the world. People are like the gays have no. What are you talking about? Like half potentially of many of the top firms of the world are run by gay men and women.
Mhm.
Sure.
Gay men and gay women. Like lots of gay women control industry.
And you would never know that they were gay.
Exactly, because like Oprah's gay. Come on.
Well,
Oprah, Clinton,
I mean-
they're gay, and like most people.
no
are
offense.
like, oh, who
I don't
cares?
think I would slap my sausage in Oprah to begin with.
No, but it's like, but Tim Cook is an openly.
Are they
openly
gay or
man,
are
but Tim
those
Cook
two
is-
gay? Are they reptilians that just want to eat human flesh?
Right. Let's go for that before reptilian, just for safety, because if they are
Or both.
reptilian, do how many times do they shed? How do
So
they
do
put on this?
reptilians' vaginas go the other way? Then
It's
then
got teeth in there, bro, like that movie Teeth.
Oh yeah, like a Venus flytrap. He just
Vaginal dentite. What was it? Vagina dentite.
oh my god, it bit
That
my
movie
dick
was
off.
so weird. There is a movie that vaginas have teeth.
Turn the friggin' frogs gay.
Oh yeah, remember when the person spoke about that? The scientist. There's a clip of the scientist that actually made that study. I like that Alex Jones quotes, and a lot of fellow people now quote because Alex Jones was right. And like that's the whole joke. It's like, how many times was Alex Jones right in the past? Like not recently, but a few years ago.
Well, that whole frogs
the-
gay thing is much different than what you and I talked about with Are We the Rats?
Because
Are we the
C-
rats? Fucking experiment.
Well, because the CIA told Bill Hicks what they were doing, and Bill Hicks, just of course spewed it out like that.
And that's the thing. If Bill Hicks is actually a strange disinformation agent for the intelligence community, holy shit, are they playing a game? Because they took this man from the Pale Horse. They took William Cooper, who was a real threat against the government, and then they created Alex Jones, like
Who Bill
oh,
Cooper
wanna
disliked
mess
on
around? We'll
who-
create a William Cooper clone.
Eat shit, motherfucker!
Who I will always say, William Cooper was not ever a fan of Bill Hicks. Like from the
You
day
didn't like
Alex
Bill Hicks either.
from the day Alex Jones hit the scene, you know what I'm saying? Like he was being like,
Ah.
this guy's a sensationalist, man. Like there's a bunch of recordings where
And
he's
that's
against
why
him.
I think you've seen the clip where Bill Hicks basically plays the character publicly in a show.
Yes. Oh,
That's the proof. Anybody needs proof. It's like, want to watch Bill Hicks act as the character Alex Jones? Like there is a stand-up he did that he
It was Jim Morrison, Rush Limbaugh.
Jim Morrison
my
being Rush Limbaugh. Yes.
Jim Morrison being Rush Limbaugh. Is that a real thing?
That's
I've
a-
never seen
that's a
anything
real
about
one.
I
You
heard
haven't-
it the other day,
Oh man.
but I'm like,
hang
could you
on.
explain to me Jim Morrison being?
Yeah,
Could
when you
show
ate-
it to me, please.
Yeah, you have to show
wanna
the
see it.
age
I wanna see it.
progression. It's crazy.
Oh, I want to see this. Please enlighten me in this field. First, I barely know Rush Limbaugh. I come from Puerto Rico. I never heard a single time him on the radio in my entire life. So I don't have any real notion of him, other than he was a very outspoken voice that was sometimes extremely stupid in their points of view. And like they were like a Trump-esque type of character, right?
There's a whole video.
Kinda, yeah.
But was Jim Morrison even close to anything like that? I know he was controversial, but I mean, they have similarities. But dude, there's a lots of people with similarities.
There's
And
there's a
that's-
whole video. That's
that not
actually
a
like a
better
whole ass
picture?
video. No, that's just first look.
Yeah, send me the video.
There's a whole ass video that goes with this, but like this is, I mean,
This Castro Jr., not a person disagrees with that. There's like you show like 4 pictures. 6 pictures you can explain it. That's how easy.
Oh,
it
with
is.
Trudeau? Yeah.
Yeah, it's too easy. What's the earliest pictures of Rush Limbaugh? The ones on the left.
I think when he was singing the
Why
Lizard
is
King.
there- No. Why is there no young pictures of Rush?
yes. These are good
That's
questions.
what
to
makes
ask.
the conspiracy theory a little bit relevant, I guess. If you want to say that. Like there's no young ones, but you can see young Jim Morrison, but you age progress Jim Morrison. Wow, he looks a lot like Rush Limbaugh. I don't know.
mean, I'm
They're fun
I've
to
always
play
been into actor based reality because I like to find those super far fetched one anyways, and like you know, in some aspects I can't deny it. Like I'm always the first guy though. Like I'm not the biggest fan of Alex Jones either.
No.
Oh, but I'd like to talk to him though. He sounds like a lunatic. That'd be hilarious. To
He'd
speak
be a
to.
lunatic to talk to for sure, but
Yeah.
like I mean,
I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
Exactly.
just-
you just want to get him drunk enough so he'll tell you everything, and then just enjoy the just sit back and enjoy the ride.
But whose dick did you really suck, or what guy did you let butt fuck you to get into Bohemian Grove? Come on, be honest.
I've always
You know, he said he's kind of gay too. Like,
I've
the
always
jokes, like,
questioned though, like if he was
he's
really
bi.
if he was really such a information deliverer or whatever, like how come he hasn't gained the Gary Webb Award? You know what I mean, like that.
I think
Because
he-
eventually he
I think
got
he's
the
a CIA
green
plant.
light. Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I would say it's possible that he had the green light eventually, because when you create that much subversion, that's why the whole concept of disinformation agents exist. Like people don't think, oh, could it simply be Alex Jones? Like, how can you not fathom that Alex Jones works for the government?
Right.
And
right.
like, why people don't have the imagination when they watch all these movies. So people love sometimes like that. That's a genre some people love, which is like espionage.
Hey, I'm white. I got an imagination. You,
I mean,
you
hey,
racist.
Wait. Are you Jewish though? Because Jews get all the scripts through.
Yeah. No. I was going to make a very inappropriate joke, so no, I'm not Jewish.
Okay.
Well,
PG-13.
But Whoopi Goldberg is.
Regardless, more donuts are eaten
She
more
loves
in a
guns,
day than
too.
any of those numbers.
Huh?
There's more donuts eaten in the world a day than any of those numbers.
Of what? Which
Don't-
numbers?
Like just any of the numbers of any of the things you're talking about there, like any of the statistics. I bet the number of donuts that's eaten in a day outweighs that by tons.
I mean, if that math had sense.
Who the
then
fuck
it
eats
would
that
be
many
so-
donuts?
Apparently, Americans 193
Oh,
million
true. We are
donuts a day.
fat.
Oh, what is it?
Did you ever hear why? Do you remember back in the day when McDonald's had their little plastic stir spoon for their coffee?
Oh yeah, the Coke spoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Coke spoon.
I
Yeah.
remember the Coke spoon.
I pulled it up on here
And
one
as a
night.
child, thinking this is a Coke spoon. Like,
I'm gonna do a bump.
Listen, I don't recommend doing bumps of pixie stick off of McDonald's Coke.
No. I'm glad I'm not the only.
Don't ever try that at home, kids.
Sniff
Like,
pixie sticks or crushed up Smarties. Oh my God! Look at this line. Let's try this. Honest to God, truth. We had my senior year. We had a foreign exchange student from Germany come over, and we hit it off right out the gate. We always hung out, whatever. And he liked to smoke pot, and great. We'd get high, whatever. I think it was like a New Year's Eve. My parents, I don't know, were out at a fucking bar. Who knows? So we were like sneaking drinks and what have you. He decided to do a challenge, which he crushed up fucking Alka-Seltzer and smoked it. And it had the same effect in his lung. Oh, yeah. We thought he was going to die. He pulled through. He pulled through.
He smoked Alka-Seltzer.
Yeah, it didn't really fire up. So when he took that initial drag, all the Alka-Seltzer dust went into his lungs.
Okay, so
it started.
Then he was gonna suffocate. Exactly. Oh my God, that is such a horrible way to go. Yeah. It's like, what did you do? I inhaled an Alka-Seltzer pill, like, and that filled up
he
my
lived
lungs.
though. He lived, but
so
God,
we were
he lived by a miracle.
Like, how did he not die?
We had
because
the
you were
German
there. You people were there to pay attention.
we had the German exchange student thing too, but like they didn't take part in this situation. Me and th- me and one of my best friends needed another science credit, and we decided to take botany because we thought it would just be something we, wouldn't be too bad to take. So within the first week, they separated us like in the classroom because they knew we were trouble. They had us at opposite ends of the classroom, and so the whole time we were in there torturing people. Well, they had a sub in there for like a week, and for some reason, my buddy thought it would be a cool idea that day to start fucking snorting lines of sugar in the back, out of the sugar packet in the back of the fucking classroom. Ended up getting the whole entire like school cop there and shit when it turned out to be sugar. Like everybody else looked really dumb, and he was just like, what? Because like they turned it into a whole ass escapade. Like brought the cop down there, the dog. They were doing the
Oh
whole
my God,
thing.
there's
Like,
cocaine in
they thought
here.
he actually had cocaine, like in the middle of, and I'm sitting on the other side of the class, like just hysterically laughing because I know, like at the worst, they're gonna yell at him for causing him a disruption, and maybe put him in detention because like he doesn't have any drugs and he's just fucking weird. Like that's why he was snorting sugar packets. What else could you say? Like
The beginning of Ritalin.
the beginning of Ritalin. I mean,
Wait, Ritalin came out since the 70s.
I know.
alternatives, bro.
Yeah.
People were looking.
Well,
For
yeah, you couldn't
alternatives.
afford it back then.
Yeah, expensive ass shit. Yeah, but that's why moms were buying the Adderall from the gas station.
What?
You've never seen the Adderall at the gas station?
Okay, explain that, please. Show
Yeah, it's
it.
called meth.
No, there's literal there's that guy too. He's usually behind the gas station, but
No,
inside
exactly. Behind the gas station.
inside the gas station behind the register,
legally
in this
inside.
in the same place that they have the pills that that are like for your penis, like the rhino pills or the hard steel pills or whatever, the variety of those that they have. They also have
like mini thins.
yeah, they also have Adderall. Like it's advertised as Adderall right there on the shelf, single packs of Adderall to, buy right then and there.
Would you take a picture of that one day? I never.
I
seen
absolutely will. I'm surprised. I sometimes I swear I find things that other people are like, "You're crazy. That doesn't exist." And I'm like, "Yes."
Do you
yes, it
remember
does."
mini thins or mini teas as they were sometimes called?
The little like the
You'd
little
get like a
thin
pack.
strips?
No, you'd get like a little pack. You'd rip it open, and there'd be like 5 in them. You used to be able to buy them in a bottle, but they were designed to keep you awake.
Yes.
Well, I remember one of the first times I drove home on leave, and I bought a bottle of these because I was like, okay, it'll keep me up. Well, I was eating them. And at one point, you're so fucking alert and high off these things, you could start to feel your fucking hair grow.
Yep.
And then you'd be up for almost 24 hours. You'd lay down for like 2 hours, take a nap, and boom, you were regenerated. They ended up taking them off the shelf because I could see how people got addicted to them, but holy, and you
What?
could
Could
not
you look
eat.
up the drug? Like, let's look up what was actually in it.
Probably, I think it was ephedrine.
Probably that was.
Ah.
Listen, I say this all the time. I love
Which was banned.
our
Ephedra was banned in the 90s.
the reason
Yep.
the
Ephedra
reason
evidently was super effective.
Well, no, ephedrine was banned in the early 2000s.
the reason your great grandma was able to do all that housework before
She was
grandpa
on
got
meth.
home from work is because she was dropping crank, as they called it, in her coffee in the morning when she was sitting there having her cup of coffee and getting that shit done. Like everybody was taking old crank when it was made with ephedrine, and then the government
Mhm.
changed it, and now it's made with PCP, and everybody's fucking crazy.
So separately, stimulants. If everybody, we realize now that a lot of people were taking stimulants in the past,
Yes.
Mm.
and they were fine. So
Yes.
what are they doing wrong now?
Because the government won't be, well, the government started making the parts from it like illegal or whatever. When they did the ephedra thing, that affected so many drugs because there were a lot of drugs made with that, and
Sudafed being the number one.
So you can get, so for Sudafed, ask behind the counter and they'll give you the 240s.
but they won't give you
I've
enough of it to go make meth.
Well, of course, you would have to go in several times, but I don't want to make any of that.
I'm
What do they
saying
call them,
this
Smurfs?
example.
So look, this is it. This is what you can get for if you ask behind the counter. If not, in the pharmacy, it's 30. Not 240, 30. That doesn't do anything.
No.
I remember when it was sitting on the shelf right there
Yeah.
for you to just be able to grab. Like
Go in and get it because, if you have fucking seasonal allergies like
that
hay
was the
fever,
best. That was the best stuff for it back in the day. Like
Yeah.
it was.
take 3 Sudafed, and man, you could fucking, your nose would unclog and you're like, oh, finally some relief. Your eyes would kind of not itch as bad. And
Just hit it. Better than Benadryl. That Benadryl makes me high as a kite. Like
you have one of the adverse,
I do.
Yeah.
It listen, I've tried to explain it to people.
I thought I killed my daughter once on Delsum.
I took two Benadryl last time I ever took 2 Benadryl. I swear it was like I had just smoked a big fat blunt. Like I was just ridiculously stoned.
And
I was
some
kicked
people
back, and I was just like,
get high on
whoa. I was just like, because people have told me about how it puts them to sleep or whatever, and I was just sitting there and I was just like, holy shit, I'm high as balls.
If you fight the sleep off, you feel like you fucking smoke a big ass fucking bowl, bong, whatever. And you're just like,
the crazy thing with Benadryl and things like that. If you for dreams, Benadryl just alters your dreams. Like, so it's dangerous. So people don't guess like the amount of people addicted to that stuff. It's way more than you think.
Oh yeah. And when people take like Tylenol PM or Advil PM,
which is Benadryl.
It's Benadryl. It's the same active ingredient that you find in Benadryl.
Oh no, I tell people all the time. It's like don't buy those sleeping pills. Buy Benadryl, but honestly, the better one is you can look up as U.N.T. It's like not that habit forming if somebody does need it, but generally the best cure for sleep is exercise.
Yeah,
sure. Or
physical or mental,
or a fifth of whiskey. That usually will knock you out pretty well too if you do it right.
Come on, the problems with alcohol. It has no benefits whatsoever. I always
drink,
wonder.
So I can make jokes.
I'm going to disagree.
Yes.
Alcohol has great benefits. Jesus drank it.
Okay,
I mean, I enjoy a drink,
but how fast and how many holes did it come out of after that event?
Ah, shit.
At least 4, right?
At least.
Ouch.
Jesus felt that.
That was rough, dude.
That
was a rough one.
I think he unforgave your sins when you were baptized. He just reversed your baptism.
You're the one who said it.
But he made it more vivid.
He turned water into wine. You're like, how many holes did it come out? I didn't say that. You did.
We're just completing the story.
I mean, we can get technical here, and I mean, we'll include those 4 and add at least 2 more that when the body went, because you do start excreting things from all kinds of holes then. So 6.
Ooh, this just took a dark turn.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Awkward silence.
Those are the best.
I'm just trying to think. It's like, so when he got up again, could he get up completely?
Listen, if somebody gets up again after they're dead, I'm blowing
3
their head
days.
off. I'm blowing their head off and making sure on the double tap because
it was a day and a half.
We're not playing zombies we're not playing zombies up in this bitch. Like I'm good. Like I've seen where that movie goes. Day of the Dead.
Okay, but real question, real question. If out of the blue, a person you knew was dead and talking to you, what the hell would go through your mind?
Can I do
default the zombie?
Can I do like Shaun of the Dead and chain him inside of my shed and give him a video game to play, and I can go outside and play with him from time to time?
If in reality I watch someone die
and they come back
and they all of a sudden came back to life right in front of me and started talking and what, I don't know how I would react. I would be a little freaked out
and relieved at the same time.
And relieved because I'm like, okay, you're not dead.
But why are you standing up like nothing happened?
Why are you not dead? You should be dead. I
Not
watched
dead.
you die.
It's that
Like-
type of situation where you would know they're dead. Like there's a whole hole in their body or half their
Right.
brains blown out.
But then,
Like, you have to-
and when I say they come back alive, I'm not talking like the Walking Dead come back to life. You know what I mean? I'm talking like we'll start talking to you, whatever. I don't know. But then that leads into, okay, people that see ghosts or apparitions and they look completely real, like someone standing right in front of you, and have a conversation, and all of a sudden they turn around and the back of their head's missing, and they're just like, whoa, what just, I don't know. I don't know how. Honestly, I'd probably be freaked out.
Yeah, I could see a freak out in being relatively in.
If
in
you
that
know nothing,
area,
there's no magical event. This is the kind of this weird situation, or like you're the first person witnessing it.
Yeah.
Whatever version of it is, it would be unexplainable, and the majority of people would hug you. Like, they're relieved that you're not dead, unless it was something so obscenely obvious that, like, oh no, like there's a hole.
You should be dead, and then you're
like it's impossible they would be standing.
Do you reach for your sidearm and go for a double tap again?
That's the problem. It's like, you never killed them. They were killed, but you want to save them somehow. It's weird. That's a strange situation. I hope it never happens, because we don't need a fungal zombie apocalypse. That would be annoying.
Well, there is that deadly fungus that's going around.
I know it's not going to turn into that. It's the Last of Us marketing department. The Last of Us marketing department creating a whole pandemic of event with mushrooms, with fungi. It's a brilliant campaign.
I've been here for how many years on this planet? Oh my God!
Before us,
yeah,
fungus were on Earth before us.
Holy shit! There's spores flying through the air. It's gonna kill humanity. It's gonna kill us. It's gonna kill us. It's gonna kill. No, that's just not how it works. Sorry. Try your next fear tactic.
I mean, they've been just throwing them left and right though, dude. Like, I haven't had a break in like 6 years. It's just been nonstop.
Do you think we'll actually this time go to the moon? That'd be cool.
No, we're only going to go up and orbit it.
That's no. I mean, yes. This mission is just to go orbit.
Yes, and I
need a live feed.
but and a live landline phone call, and
with no latency.
Yeah, and this crew is a quality hire.
Oh my God! Yes, I noticed it.
It's like, really?
Did you hear the conference, how they were speaking about each person?
No, I didn't.
Oh my God. Okay, so I was randomly snooping around different, I don't know what I was looking at. And then suddenly, boom, there's a live feed of the launch event of like, who are going to be the astronauts? Like this presentation. And it was hilarious and how absurd it was, because they're like, oh my God, hi. We're like, they were acting like as if they were a celebrity. I don't know. It was super bizarre looking. It was such a spectacle, but it was so pathetic at the same time. And because they're like going around the moon. I'm like, but you only be making the spectacle if this is the first time we're actually doing it. Otherwise, why are you celebrating such an achievement that we did 70 years ago? I don't get it.
Do you really believe in the moon landing?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. I believe we went into space, but not the moon landing. After enough evidence and meeting the biggest denier and the proponent against it, that has amassed vast amounts of information proving that this was Cold War tactic mixed with just deception and power.
Mm-hmm.
It had so many benefits for the government to fake.
We went into low Earth orbit. That was all we did.
Are you
That's
talking
all
about
we've
our
done.
buddy? Are you talking?
Yeah.
Were you talking about our buddy?
Yeah, Sabril.com.
It's Sabril.com.
Sabril.com. Sabril.com.
Sabril.com.
How do you spell that?
Sabril.
No, he's a really cool guy, and he's very captivating to
Yeah, he just says
listen
website
to.
a lot.
He's been on here, and no, not knocking him if he happens to be listening,
it's
because we mentioned
it's all love. It's just
I counted it, and then at the very end of the show,
the last one. How many?
it ended up being 22 because at the very end of the show, I threw in a Sabrel.com because I wanted to see if I could get away with it and make him laugh, and he actually appreciated it. So I was just like, shit, yeah, like because he'll get to talking and
How many
every
times did you say? 22?
22 times.
Which is weird because 22 and 222 have been floating around real heavily. Megan the Stallion wore 222 when she threw out the pitch. Now they're supposedly making a movie based around 222, and
Interesting.
yeah, it's
Well,
weird.
you're talking about Catch 22, a movie,
No,
something about 22. But why? So why is 22 relevant? Beyond that, what's the significance of it?
it's just been a number that's been popping up everywhere heavily, frequently,
So
real recently.
but no, I know. I saw some of that, but what's people's thoughts on it?
No one's really, everybody's trying to look into it, but nobody can get any like clear answer to what is behind this. Why are we seeing 22 or 222 or
Because the thing about those numbers is it's really hard to quantify historically a pattern recognition on certain number sequences. I wonder what's the science on a historical and mathematical perspective of certain numbers, because it really would be fascinating if there's a correlation between certain frequencies and the frequency of those frequencies, because you look at just weather is actually just frequencies and cycles. But we don't look at it that way, and I'm just trying to understand why the fuck are we not looking at it and explaining it to everybody as mega cycles and tiny cycles. And there's like this hurricane, and then this, like, it just storms it, the chaos just continually expands, so we can't predict it.
Yeah, it's like the ripple effect.
Yes.
But we act like we can predict it, and all we're doing is we're going.
Well, they can predict it to an extent with their cloud seeding.
You know, this is actually perfect. You know, you guys.
Now people starting to believe in that shit. By the way, before you said chemtrails or things like that as a joke, and I say chemtrails as a joke, haha, chemtrails, and I'm like, yep, nah, try that. Just say it like jokingly, and you'll notice everybody's realizing, oh yeah, they modify the weather.
Yes. So you're talking about like the ripple effect and stuff, and you know that gets into like the butterfly effect and like what ifs and like time travel. So like so this is kind of funny because this just kind of wound up in my feed just now. If you could go back in time and talk to one person, and that interaction would ultimately lead to the death of one other person, and you aren't allowed to wear socks for 3 years after unless they are blue, then which person would you talk to and when?
Doc Holiday.
Dude, there is some interesting stuff I could show you about that very interesting fellow. Because he grew up in the town that I work in.
Yep. And then moved out to Tombstone, Arizona because he had TB.
Could you tell me more of the story? Because I've heard of him, but I don't know if
he claimed.
Tell me more.
But see, there's
who is Doc Holiday?
there also claims to be a grave here in Griffin, Georgia, that they claim is his as well.
But who is this person? What was his significance? I don't know. I know of the name.
He was a traveling dentist. He was a traveling dentist, and he was at like the OK Corral and such like that. Like he's supposed to be legendary, but he just seems really.
When he caught TB, he had nothing to live for anymore. So back then, it was a gunslinger. Let's play poker. Let's just have fun. And he became probably the fastest gun in history. And
so he was like, well, you've seen the guys today that can shoot like this.
Yeah. So have you ever heard the phrase, I'm your Huckleberry?
Not that common. I've heard it, but it's not.
You've heard it? That he made that famous. Now it
used to be commonly said a lot back in when that movie was hot.
I'm not.
It's either Huckleberry or Hucklebearer. Nobody, because a Hucklebearer is someone that carries your casket. So but Val Kilmer played the best. That was his best role of his life in Tombstone, the movie Tombstone.
And like,
I know I've been meaning to see it. I've not seen it, but it looks interesting.
So when I found out that he was from Griffin, Georgia, you can go visit his parents' old house. You can visit his old house. You can visit his father's old dentistry, and where he apparently worked at one point in time too. And there's all kinds of different things that go on throughout that town, and he apparently took part in helping the local government there. They had a half white, half native fellow named Chief McIntosh, and this dude apparently had some in the convincing of helping Chief McIntosh basically sell his people out, and then his people killed him before he even made it back home because of selling them all out and a bunch of their land. And like, there's the Griffin claims and like all their markers and stuff like this, that it's rumored that he's buried in Denver or whatever was supposed to be his final resting place, and that his body's not really there. His body's there in Griffin in the city cemetery in this giant tomb next to his parents. And the folks of that town will argue with you about it. They'll be like, "No, he's here, bro," and and apparently he's buried with the other special revolver that his buddy gave from the OK Corral gave him.
Really?
Yeah, the one that sold for like 2 million. The other one sold for like $2 million online. He's supposedly buried with that other revolver, the twin to that revolver.
Hey, what are you doing Saturday? You want to go dig a grave?
I mean, I've thought about it a few times because.
Well, where is it located?
That's $1 million each.
I mean,
can we make a mini documentary about it and then post it once we find out that the gun was there? We already sold it and everything,
and he was really there, and we debunked Denver, and
actually it'd probably be more than 2 million because it would be actually Doc Holliday's gun from his actual fucking grave.
How much that? Yeah, probably would be worth more. Historically, probably worth 10 million.
All right, you're about 8 to 10 hours from me. I'll leave Friday. I'll bring a shot.
Let's hit
it. They give up.
You come down to Pennsylvania, hop in my car, and then we'll go down.
I am game for a hunt. So if you're serious, let's go. I got a week I can spare.
In the movie, they kind of
got a week. We can do. Can we not dig a grave in a week? Come on.
I think we can be grave robbers in a week.
In a week, come on. All you have to do is ask Siri. Hey, where do you drop the dead bodies? And then Siri will tell you. Do you remember that at the beginning? One of the best questions was that.
Just a pick.
No. There's something really neat about this. It had died down in attention because it's a lot of the graves, the wording and stuff is so old that it's hard to read them. But when Pokemon Go came to town, that cemetery is a butt ton of hotspots, and one of the Pokestop spinners is the one like it's flat out marks it like Doc Holliday's tomb, and it's like, wait, what? Like, this one right here is where he is. It's like,
yeah, but they probably already dug it up.
I don't want to change topics because I want to stay on this topic, but when people say TikTok is stealing our data and information, where the fuck do you think Pokemon Go originated from? And they were mapping everything from everywhere.
So Niantic also built another game, which I played.
They built a few
when I had an Android, which was basically Pokemon Go. So that was a brilliant tactic of Niantic, is making a contract.
Was it called Poker Manhole?
No. It was like, it was basically
that would be your butt.
Like a type of tag game. Like, you go over there and try to take over the base. It was really pathetic. Like, the game was like, I mean, some people loved it, but I was like, really, this is the game? It feels. But same dynamic. You can look it up. It's escaping me. It starts with an I. But people did the exact same thing they did with Pokemon Go. So basically, they told Nintendo, hey, what if we treated your property like this? Basically, put a Pokemon skin on top of the game. That's exactly what they did. Pokemon Go could be so amazing, and it's not. Like,
okay,
they could have made
it.
I'm 46, so I didn't get the hype. You know what I mean? It was beyond my age. Well, no, I wasn't 46 then.
The perfect Pokemon game does not exist because the people in Nintendo are too fucking like, they're broken. They need a new source of external inspiration, because they could make the perfect like game and they don't do it because they're too fucking lazy.
I mean,
Yeah.
on top
It
of
would be a
that,
mega hit, like $1 billion game,
Game-
like a GTA 6 level game.
games in general have gone downhill since they started making all of them. They're like, here's half the game. We're gonna release the
Or a
other
live
stuff later.
service.
We're
Live services. What the fuck?
we're
The
gonna
last
release.
cool game I played was PUBG Mobile.
That's a
We're-
live service, but a PUBG, part of Tencent. I mean, it's
Mhm.
somewhat entertaining.
I'm saying though, like, okay, like the game comes out, and then 6 months later, the rest of the game comes out in a downloadable form that you can buy, and then 6 months
Yeah.
after that, a bunch of extra downloadable content comes out that you can buy, and it's just like, just give me the fucking game, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
No, or get a season pass. What? Okay, so you want me to
Yeah.
play the game twice?
yeah,
Here's my season pass. Yeah, I remember that shit. Oh, look. And then all of a
What
sudden,
do you mean you remember that shit?
And,
That's
all your shit
now.
disappears. It's like, wait a minute, what?
No, it gets worse. I mean, I remember reading this license on a GTA expansion, and I remember reading it when I bought it and thinking, huh, this has an expiration date.
give us
My
GTA
license
6.
had a fucking expiration. My license had an expiration. Stop buying the
3
fucking license.
platforms.
Buy the disc.
Luis is over here yelling at us like he's fucking Italian.
Three platforms.
these-
Give us GTA 6 already. Like, and
What? 3 platform what?
3 platform GTA 5. I played it on PlayStation 3. I've played it on PlayStation 4, and I refuse to have it for PlayStation 5 because why would I want the same game for a third fucking system? Give me GTA 6
No,
already.
the only reason because I stopped playing. So the only reason I play GTA is to drive in the city and take a helicopter ride, which I might do.
Oh, yeah, that's all I ever. I
That's
never
it.
did the missions. I just fucking
After you
drive
played
and
the
destroy
game-
shit.
After you played the game, I just go on the online, and sometimes I made games. I once started playing with a random guy that was pretty much a criminal, like a low level criminal, but a criminal, and it was a really, really interesting conversation because it turned really candid, and it literally felt like I was talking to a cartoon character because I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. I thought sometimes he was fucking with me, but no, I was like, oh, you really are having these problems, skimming cards.
Do you remember the game, was it Pursuit?
Yes.
Where
Oh,
you'd get the cops, like you were trying to evade the cops and what have you, and the more shit, and then the next thing you know, boom, 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 and
Need
That was
for
all right.
Speed Hot.
I
Need
don't
for
know that
Speed Hot
game.
Pursuit.
I've seen it.
Yeah,
I've
that
seen
was
the
it.
box. I've seen the box, the blue and red
See,
Pursuit.
I've
That's it, but I don't know it.
I've always like I've played a handful of games, and I played a lot more games back at like
my
Super
favorite was
Nintendo,
Winona's Big Brown Beaver.
Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis days and stuff like that. But like,
What's
it
your
took
favorite old one?
my favorite old game.
Old game meaning 16-bit or lower.
Ooh.
It'd have to be
16
Sonic
bit or
because that's me. I got the boy addicted to Sonic because Sonic was more my style back
So
in.
Sega Genesis Sonic.
Like Sonic the
Oh.
Hedgehog was the shit, man. Like he was a little bit cooler than Mario, but I love all the old Mario too. Like
Ghost, what's your perfect?
That's a toss up
16-bit.
because
Come on, 16-bit. You played those.
oh, totally. I mean, NES came out, and then you had Sega Genesis, Super NES, and
yeah,
during that whole time, I mean, there was a flood of fucking games.
so many games. They came out like with TV shows and with movies and shit like
Yeah.
that.
But they were so terrible. It was like the bizarro protection of the IP. Some people theorize that they were just trying to protect the IP on a motion picture level. And they had to justify it by throwing any type of product into the market, so they collectively own the IP on a visual spectrum. Again, this is all related to legalese and ownership and power over a brand. Because what was coming out of Japan was like 99% junk, and the United States was also pumping out like 99%
Listen,
junk.
Batman Returns on the Sega Genesis was one of the top notch go along with games. You can't change my mind.
Really,
Eh,
I never played it, so
I'm gonna.
Compared to a lot of the other games, bro. It
So
was a great
home
game.
video game console, I'm gonna go. I mean,
Yeah,
you can't go
16-bit.
wrong with Mario. You can't. I mean
Well,
that.
which one? You gotta say one. He says that Sonic the Hedgehog one. You gotta say one actual game. I know, not a whole genre.
Probably Probably Mario 3, where you could become the raccoon and fly and do all that.
That's a great one.
That was cool. Mario 2's right up there with it because the princess float.
It's super creative.
Yes. Spent hours playing it. Favorite arcade game? I'm going to go Spy Hunter, though.
Ooh.
Spy Hunt. I don't know enough arcade games.
Yeah, that's probably way before your time. You
All right.
sit on an oil slick, some
Ghost,
fucking smoke
I
screen.
got you a place down here, Ghost. We have a place in downtown Atlanta that I stumbled upon by accident. That is one of my favorite places to go to. And it is an 80s arcade for adults with 25-cent arcade games all day long and alcoholic drinks for sale right behind you. If you walk down into the next room, it's a giant room full of pinball machines, wall to wall. And in the center of this wall to wall pinball machine room is a giant couch table thing where people have like board games and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, and well, they do tabletop. There's board in that room. There's tabletop games like board and Magic and Dungeons and Dragons. And in the back room, because there's one more room, it's like blacked off, and there's a giant screen on the one wall and all of the Rockstar equipment for like the Xbox Rockstar.
Okay.
And the winning band gets, a round of beers or whatever from the bar.
Oh, nice.
We've gone up there several times because I found the place by accident because we decided to go to this is so bad. We went to a Black Lives Matter protest. I was the designated driver because I had some buddies that were like, let's go to a Black Lives Matter.
You know what the new Black Lives Matter protest is?
And I was like, yeah, bro, I'll go to this Black Lives Matter protest with you. And I do want to answer that question though too. And he goes, so I get up there and they got hammered before we got there. And we all get out of the car and they unroll our signs, and our signs say that cow eggs kill kids. And we went and walked into the middle of.
Please show me a picture. I need to see this sign. I need to see the sign. Eggs kill kids. What? Cow eggs kill kids.
And so I have three.
That is the best sign ever made.
It's
confusing.
I have two ex-military guys, like big ex-military guys, that are hammered. They drank a whole bottle of Crown Apple between the two of them. And then we met up with a third guy. And when he got there, he had a bottle of Crown Vanilla. And like, they're all chugging all this alcohol. We walk down there with these signs and I'm like, fuck it, let's go do this. And so we walk into the middle of the Black Lives Matter group that's standing there in front of Fox 5 News and start holding up our cow egg sign just in the middle of it.
As you're a really white, ginger bearded, bald-headed dude.
I had long, dude, at that time I had long golden locks. My hair was center of my back.
Oh my God.
And I didn't wear a pirate hat, I wore a fedora. So it was even worse. And so we're walking around here and I'm just hoping to God that we don't die.
How many people died?
Should I buy the domain, by the way? Should I buy the domain?
Cow eggs kill kids?
Yeah,
of course it exists.
No, I buy it.
And why not?
What is it? $12? Buy it.
And we so as the night goes on and we're just kind of blending in with the crowd somehow, the news decides that they want to talk
glowing
to
in the moonlight.
Yeah, the news decides that they want to talk to the guys with the cow eggs kill kids signs. And I was like, this is the time that we need to go. So when I start realizing that the news is talking to people in the audience, I'm like, it's time to go. So I'm going to get the car. And as I'm pulling back up to where everybody's standing on the side of the road, just as the guy in the whole news outfit goes to ask the one guy about his cow egg sign, and just, dude, I snatched one dude through the driver's window and I yelled at the rest of them. I'm just like, we have got to leave. Like, I can't be here.
Oh, so you almost allowed them to speak to the
I almost allowed them to speak to the news, but I stopped them, thankfully. And we couldn't find one of the guys. Like, the guy had wandered. They were like, he wandered off. I was like, sign and all. They were like, no, he trashed the sign, but he wandered off. And I was like, okay, fuck him. At first, I was like, fuck him. I was like, he'll call me when he's tired of being lost. The minute I got onto the interstate, my phone rings and he's like, I don't know where I am. And I'm like, well, read a sign from me. He goes, I see a sign that says the joystick. I said, sit down beside that. And he's like, okay. So I found him. I put the joystick in the thing, and I found him, and I found this awesome bar that we ended up spending the rest of the night at because it literally was. I walked through the door, and the first thing I seen was X-Men and Doom and Ninja Turtles, and I was like, how much are these games? And the guys are like 25 cents a game, and I was like, you guys can get as drunk as you want. I'm about to sit here and turtle the fuck out. Like,
So during this whole time, I forgot that's what we were actually talking about. You took us on this journey, and I forgot about this fucking arcade. Like, I would love to come down there. 25 cents a game. Oh, dude, I remember.
It's quarter arcade games, like something that I can actually relate to because I can remember a time when we used to go to the bowling alley with my mom.
Dude, I hated when they went up to like 50 cents or 75 cents. You're like, what the fuck?
Yep. We used to go to the bowling alley with my mom growing up because she was in a bowling league or whatever, and we hung out in the arcade the entire time she was bowling.
Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah.
I remember the arcade in our mall. I saved up like, I don't know, I think it was like $30 from a paper route. My buddy did the same, and we took turns pumping the machine. It was the X-Men, and we actually beat that arcade game. Like, we were just like, okay, pop in some more, and because we were little. We're like, oh yeah, we're rich. We got $30.
And yeah, dude.
Well, 60 between the both of us. But yeah, we spent $60 to beat an arcade machine.
Man, and
greatest time of my life. Hours and hours.
The drinks are video game and comic book themed.
Oh, nice.
Oh, by the way,
you can order a Catwoman and shit like that. Oh God, you bought the donate. Oh, what are we gonna do with it? What are we gonna do with it?
Let's rate.
No,
we should make it. We should make it.
We could make some like bizarro parody site
about how they need to release the client list. By the way, I think that is something important that needs to be talked about.
That was the one I was looking for.
Yeah. That needs to be talked about more
tonight.
Is like all things aside, it's been so many months since the Ghislaine Maxwell
he passed away.
Well, there was Epstein too, and his didn't kill himself, and then Maxwell that is sitting in jail for trafficking humans to who?
Thousands of invisible people that
I still say that the client list is a priority of Americans and people worldwide.
It is the number one priority of the human race to know who those people were. It is one of the most important questions to answer in the scope of the human race itself.
That would take down every major government in every major country around the world.
So be it.
Why it will never be released.
By the way, it will start the revolution.
I think it needs to be. But that this list.
Release the list officially. It'll start the revolution.
I fucking bust on the French all the time. Oh, they're protesting. They're not doing shit. And all of a sudden they fucking storm BlackRock's headquarters.
And set it on fire.
Bravo. Good job, you French.
Do the Federal Reserve next. Do the Federal Reserve next.
Oh, dude. Remember, so recently there was a case where Macron was in a building and they were chanting outside, we need to get the guillotines.
Ooh.
There was a song about guillotines, like getting the guillotines from.
I did hear that.
Revolution.
Because
I saw singing an old song from the revolutionary period about getting the guillotines to kill the fucking aristocrats. They were screaming that by him so he could hear it
in French. Yeah.
It's from the revolution. I believe it's from that time. I had to check, but it's like it was basically calling for him to get guillotined.
I mean,
they all should.
Yes.
Fuck them all.
I mean, you know how better the world would be if 3,000 people ceased to exist.
The 3,000 people that think that they can make decisions upon everybody else's life.
Yep.
That small group of not very significant, to the betterment of the rest of us people.
You will own nothing and be happy.
That keep trying to make all these decisions,
Oh no, it gets worse. I love to quote this Oxfam report. You guys know what I'm talking about?
No.
So there was an Oxfam report declaring the wealth inequality of this country, of the world. And it's so much worse than what people think it is. Like, people think it's bad. But then you read this and you realize it's so much worse. It's like, oh, the report is basically saying that everybody that was paranoid was right. That a few thousand people took all the money. Who would have thunk that? Remember when 1,300 plus CEOs left in 2019?
We got some dumbass motherfuckers floating around this country.
Yeah, they got out before everything went to shit, so they didn't get associated with it.
Yep.
They didn't want their hands dirty. So you could say that those CEOs potentially couldn't say anything because they would get fucked, but they could,
I've seen some interesting
away.
things. Actually, there's some of some of those CEOs and there's even other people actually that had connections to Jeffrey Epstein, even that were living here in America and lived in some pretty bomb ass mansions. And when a lot of this other shit started, they skipped town and
Hold on, I gotta sneeze.
Yeah,
Howard Hughes.
They skipped town and abandoned many of their mansions and stuff. And on a lot of the Uber X's that I like urban exploration. I think it's super awesome, and it has been a common thing in the past couple of recent years that they have been finding abandoned fucking McMansions and shit that people that were tied to either Epstein or tied to big corporations and shit were just like, we got to get the fuck out of here and go to somewhere where they won't extradite us. And
Greece.
Yeah, mostly
Greece. Let's go to Greece.
Wait, what? Is Greece one of those countries that allows pedophilia?
Mm-hmm.
That's why Tom Hanks is there. Yeah.
Yep.
And
Oh,
doesn't
Tom Hanks lives in Greece?
doesn't Richard Branson own regular St. James?
Something like that. It's
Not
the
Little
fuck
St.
is the
James.
name?
He owns one
It's
like
not
next
Little
door.
St. right next door to Little St. James. And the Buttons, the Bidens, because they're not really Irish, they're fucking English. Their first name used to be Button, not Biden, and they never were fucking Irish. Own an island right next
to Jeffrey Epstein.
You
right
don't
next
say.
to
You don't say. So
when he's over there, whoa, I was Irish, and then now he gives a speech. Well, you're English. Yeah, no shit.
Why did
Your last name used to be fucking Button.
So Pedo and Chief has a place to stay next door to the old Epstein place. How interesting.
On his brother's island.
And his brother got a lot of the Iraq contracts.
It's almost like there's these weird coincidences.
brother-
I will say that motherfucker's dead. I watched it could have been doctored, but he scratched the back of his neck and the fucking wrinkle stayed there. Tell me that's not a fucking mask.
I seen the one you're talking about. I seen it
goes
today.
from fucking
Show me that.
right-handed to
Show me it.
left-handed.
Okay, show me that.
I don't know if
Please.
I gotta find who shared
see
it.
it.
It was I think it was one of our mutuals actually, Ghost, over there on Instagram. But I'd seen it today too when I was coming around, where he's reaching up back here and like it looks like a rubber skin mask, like just kind of crumpled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tell me how you go from right-handed to left-handed.
How so?
Just asking for a friend. I've been right-handed my whole life. I don't think I'm gonna start right and left-handed.
We've done like the biometrics on his face. We've talked about like I was showing something good recently. His handwriting, how his handwriting has changed from where he was
Completely
signing.
different.
Yeah, and when he
But
was
if
signing things in earlier
if
times.
you go to left-handed, your slants are going to be different.
So wait, so Biden is naturally
Right-handed
because there's footage from the Senate for decades, so you could see
Mhm.
it. There's footage. Okay, so like this is the thing, the footage exists, so there's no debate. Like there's decades of footage. The guy has been in front of a camera for fucking 50 years. And he
That's all he's
lied
done.
to a camera for 50 years.
Yeah,
I'll give him the Biden is a
I could
compulsive
use
liar.
a strapping young man to do some chores around my house.
That's bad.
Oh yeah, that was him too.
every time my coonhound, he'll cry. He'll do this.
I could use a strapping young man to do some chores around.
I didn't mean to hit you.
And I'm like, "Are you Herbert the pervert?"
Who created that character was specifically, because that was a great funny hill.
Oh, the
that
creator
Seth?
of. I think it was Seth.
I'm trying to think. It's because he has color co-writers, and that character came in later. But yeah, most
Get
of
your
the characters-
fat ass back here.
Was he the voice too? That's because I know he's not every voice.
I don't remember. I mean, he's a good majority of the voices. I don't know who did Herbert the Pervert.
You got yourself a nice muscly arm over there.
I think it was Jimbob Oval Shorts. You got to get the.
Yeah.
Is you here to bring me some of that good news?
Yes.
So I
You got to do the entire video now. You got to do a whole reenactment of his voice, but you have to say it in that voice. Can you do that? You should be able to do that one day. That would be a good.
what do
video
like a
for
whole
him.
episode or like just
Do a whole episode.
read
of
things-
do
read
it in
things
that
of him
voice,
back?
In character.
But do it in that character. He's gonna die laughing his head off. Basically,
Wait,
just repeat.
Ahoy, mateys. Joining us today on this episode is Herbert the Pervert. Along with Jimbob Over Shorts and Luis. And Bandit's going to join us later, but Herbert the Pervert is the main star.
You got yourself a nice muscly arm there, but you here to bring me some of that good news?
Wow, that's pretty good.
The only thing you're missing is
Is the whistle?
that
And
fucking weird whistle.
and I think it's I can usually pull it off, but I think because my nose is clogged today that I can't because of the sweet ass mouth chip. It whistles really good through that hole in my face
Nice.
where I suffered that.
That's from the
injury.
attack.
That's from me trying to save my cat, and I ended up making out with a full-blooded like German Rottweiler, one of the big, huge boys that weigh as much as I do, like in real life. And me and him connected, and I thought he busted my nose, and we just hit. You know what I'm saying? I didn't realize that. No, he clamped and ripped my face all the way open and half my tooth and 19 stitches from the inside of my lip all the way up inside my nose. And
Ouch.
And
I don't
I-
even want to see how that would look. That sounds horrifying.
that is actually a picture I keep on my phone. I'll totally send in the group chat if you'd like to see it because it was
Oh, totally.
it was the after picture of when they stitched it up because like
Oh yeah,
I didn't take a picture of the open because like when it happened, I was still with my ex-wife and I came in the house again thinking my face was just busted. So I went running to the bathroom, washing my face, thinking that there was like a busted nose. I was trying to just get some water on my face. And she's like, let me see. And I turned and looked at her and her face and her eyes got real big. And she's like, we have to go to the hospital now. I was like, it can't be that bad. She goes, go into the bathroom with the mirror. And I was like, it can't be that bad. And as I'm walking across the house talking shit. And I look into the mirror as I walk in there and I can see my gums and my face is all hanging open like a cleft palate. And I was like, oh shit, we need to go to the hospital. and we
Well, the good news for you, honestly, is that somehow your brain turned it off. And not everybody gets lucky with that.
yeah.
Sometimes their brains malfunction and then
Yeah.
express the pain. If they were to express the pain you were really feeling, you would have already passed out. But something in your brain, your fight or flight, was running, but the adrenaline just drained into deciding we're not going to allow him to experience pain. So that's a tactic. That's how some soldiers are able to do.
Oh, yeah.
After the shot. You were running on adrenaline. You were running on pure adrenaline, but you were so. But it was leveling you off. You weren't because there was so much damage. So you were like level because there was so much damage. So the body had to focus on all the other stuff.
I
Adrenaline's
am one of those
fascinating.
guys. I am one of those guys though. Like I have sustained many injuries in my life from broken bones to stitches in my skull and stuff like that. And
My arm didn't hurt for 2 hours.
I walked.
2 hours, my arm didn't hurt.
I broke the ball.
Stop masturbating.
Yeah. I broke
When
the ball of
bone
my
was
ankle.
here. This was here.
You broke a bone masturbating? Damn, you're hardcore, Luis.
I broke the ball of my ankle one summer and
It just snapped in half.
walked on it for 3 weeks before I ended up going to the hospital because my grandmother was like, we're taking you to the hospital. And I'm like, why? She's like, because you're still limping and I don't think that's a sprain. And I got there and the guy's like, the guy's like, the ball in your ankle's cracked. How did you do that? And I was like, well, I was running from some guys that were a lot larger than me and I fell in a trap that I had made in the woods for the case if these larger guys were chasing me.
You fell
And
into your own trap. Oh my god.
so it was like karma getting me back, and I broke my ankle. But these guys were
Well-
constantly stealing my bike and beating me up with parts from it. So
But d-
like,
Well, we could make a large group now, and we could terrorize them if you want.
one
Gonna jolly go
one unfortunately OD'd a couple of years ago, and I think the other one is still in jail. So like
So
they
we
made their
can't
own
even
life
reach them
choices
right now.
You know what I mean? Like they made their own.
But I had an experience about, I don't know, 7 or 8 years ago ish. And the wife and I we took the canoe out. We were on the river. We landed on this island in the river or what have you. I had a machete that was really fucking sharp, and I was trying to blaze a little trail up so we could have a picnic area, right? And I grabbed this branch and I went to whack it, and my foot slipped in the mud, and I whacked my wrist. And where I hit my wrist, I do not know how because like it's right on top, like my scar is right on top of the tendon that goes to your thumb. And I was like, oh shit. Well, I turn around, and I mean, there's a gaping wound here. And at the time she's like, come down, rinse it in the water. I'm like, I'm not rinsing it in the Susquehanna River. No, gross. It's polluted. It's dirty. It's muddy. So I rip off a piece of my shirt. We get back to the canoe. I tell her to tie it off right on top of the wound and sit there, soak it in water the whole time. Right. And this back when I smoked cigarettes, like, can I just smoke a cigarette? Right. And she's freaking out. I'm remaining calm. No, couldn't smoke a cigarette. We start paddling back across. A fucking thunderstorm decides it wants to appear. Right. I'm like, what the fuck? This is weird. So we finally get back. We get the canoe loaded, get back to the house. And I was like, I'm just going to go to the doctor. And she's freaking out. I'm looking down at my phone. Like I backed out of the driveway and I'm looking down. I'm like, well, instead of going to the emergency room, can I go to my local care provider? So I'm looking up the number. She thought I passed out. And I'm like, no. So I go, they pull the fucking bandage off, and the doctor's like, wow, you kept this good. I can stitch this right up. I'm like, well, I've had training and what have you. He's like, okay, how did you do this? I was like, a machete. And he's looking at it, and he's kind of like spreading it open. He goes, I have no idea how you missed your tendon, because the way you're holding this and would have held this should have completely immobilized my thumb. And I was like, well, I'm grateful, but it was fucking weird. It was really weird. Now the scar tissue and everything, it took about a year to heal, but holy fuck. I've never used a machete since.
Now you just gotta run in the room.
Works pretty well.
Oh yeah. Right here.
Really amazing.
Now when you see guys using the machete wrong, you can run in and be like, boys, can't we settle this like reasonable, sexy teenagers?
Okay, so it goes. You cut a whole section of your arm, like sectioned off.
Jeez.
From there,
Yikes.
I can barely hear you though, but I can see the line. I can see like the mark. Like for some reason I can't hear you at all.
Well, it's because I muted my mic because I was
okay.
squirming around in my chair. But yeah, it was fucking bizarre because like I should not have any use of my thumb at all.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I do, but hey.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And your doctor actually knew what the fuck he was doing.
I live to pay another.
So Go, since the last time you were on here, I've started kind of a new silly random segment where I use an AI that generates me random questions without any kind of prompt or whatever, other than, if I want it to be funny or dark humor or stuff like that. And
oh, hit me with your best shot.
so
I hope you went the darkest.
Well, I can't say this one's really dark. It's kind of silly if you ask me, but at the same time, it's kind of right up my alley. So that's why I want to roll with it.
So do I have to be serious, or can I play right back into it?
You can play right back into it. So What do you think about sushi?
Well, sushi's good, but not in the female kind. It can be stinky sometimes. But a proper cared sushi can be tasty. But no, if it is actually sushi, I do love it. Give me some fucking wasabi, even though I know it's just fucking not real wasabi. Love it all day long.
Nice. Luis did his whole little. He's probably on the phone. Oh, there he is. So, Luis, what do you think of sushi? You're muted.
That's probably the cause of mass infertility in Japan and other Asian countries.
You know that raw salmon wasn't a thing until the Nordic people conned the Japs into buying it. They used to not eat
Wait,
raw
what?
salmon.
Okay, so
So
I know the Vikings are huge because they eat certain fish. I forgot which fish, but
so in Japan it was not common at all to eat raw salmon. Raw salmon out of the Pacific Ocean is very full of all kinds of worms and other kinds of parasites and stuff like that. So it was not one that was a chosen idea to eat for sushi. And people that were over there fishing in the Atlantic that were, European descendant or whatever,
Fisher people?
Fisher type people, they were catching all of this Atlantic salmon and really didn't have much of a place to sell much of it to. It just wasn't really a popular thing at the time. And these guys convinced the leader of Japan at the time, or some people that were in like his cabinet or whatever, in the marketing and such, to buy all of this Atlantic salmon and market that it was safer and not the same as the Pacific salmon. And they started eating it on sushi as a craze, and it just eventually turned into like a literal craze that spread around the world, all because of marketing and people trying to sell something.
So salmon is never safe in sushi.
Mm-mm.
What is a safe option in sushi?
Cooked.
I mean, you're only supposed to eat the proper pieces of the blowfish raw.
That's true too. I mean, the blowfish, and they said that the incidents are so low, it's pretty safe to eat. It's just you can't go to an idiot to make it. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not that complicated, the instructions for it.
And I mean,
it's kind of a myth. People have died, but not really.
I'm an oyster guy. Like
yeah.
But if I do oysters, I like raw oysters. Like I don't like.
No, and that's the thing. So raw oysters, right?
It's like snot on a cracker, but it's still yummy with hot sauce.
Okay,
hot. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Where do you get raw oysters best? I mean, New York.
Only when I go to the ocean. Like only when I go to the ocean. I don't like to buy them.
So you would just rip them from the boat right there and eat them.
I go.
They're a little salty.
I go to like whatever local place. When I go to the beach, I go to whatever local place has like the fresh fresh oysters and stuff like that.
I said wet market. That's for the stuff.
That's where the Wuhan flu came from.
And I like to get when I'm there, I like to get the fresh oysters like that. And now I do like fried clams. Like you give me a plate of fried clams or fried calamari, and it's fucking on. Like I'm gonna go to town.
There was a video interview, a strange one, of Dave Chappelle and Sam. He's the guy from The Walking Dead. If you've seen him, the long-haired guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the Death Stranding, the main character of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was from Boondock Saints.
Yeah, Boondock Saints. So
he owns a restaurant down here in Georgia in a place called Sonoya.
So he did an interview with Chappelle, and they were looked like oysters. Look at that video. It's crazy. They're humongous. I've never seen them like that.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Natural oysters.
Yeah.
They're pretty big, man.
They're pretty big.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of oysters you've been looking at.
They slide right down your throat.
They do. I mean, people are like, "How do you eat that?" I'm just like this. I mean,
Oh, I've eaten oysters before. I like
Sure.
them.
Just pretend you're
next time-
you're going to be a gay guy sucking a dick, and that's how you eat oysters. You just let it slide down. He's giving you the money shot. Boom, good to go.
he's not wrong.
Are you trying to help those that have been affected by the abuse of old wrinkly dingling?
Yeah,
You're giving them comfort.
just reach out. Just reach out. That's all you got to do.
Just reach out to
What's your
those
next question?
affected by the dinglings.
Well, that does actually usually pull up 3 questions. The one that I'm using tonight actually is called team building, because I've been using random different ones, and it usually gives me a couple options. And so the second question it brought up tonight is, what is your most bizarre dream you've ever had?
The most bizarre dream I've ever had was a recurring dream, and it's like two separate dreams, but they kind of fit. One is I used to be like, I'm talking like when I was like, I don't know, 7 or 8. I'd have a dream that I was in space and I couldn't breathe. And I was floating around, and all of a sudden in my mind, I'd be like, it's your dream. You can do what you want. You can breathe. Just take a breath. And I would breathe, and I would make it back to the ship or whatever. Counterpart to that, I'd be underwater and the same type of thing. So it was like a suffocation type of dream, but in my dream, I knew it was a dream, so I could control it and tell myself to breathe.
So wait, I want to ask you on that, because my most recent one was like that to an extent. I was in my house at what felt like my old house in Puerto Rico. I look outside by the beach area, and when I look, there's no beach. There's just sand. So it's like it's all gone. We're talking like what feels like half a mile in, no water. Just fish, random fish and sand. Super freaky. And then I noticed, I just screamed to them, there's a tsunami coming. Like, we can't avoid it. There's a tsunami coming no matter what.
Right.
Like, get to the highest point, and maybe we'll still die because of the scale. I die there, and then I wake up again in a different location, experiencing all over again in a different way. And then I die, and then I come back again, and then I see it from a separate perspective. And I die in a different way. And then I die. And then I woke up.
Yeah, when they say you die in your dreams, you don't die.
No, but this time it just felt horrible, man. This was a level of horror that, yeah, it's beyond the concept of a nightmare, because it felt real. It wasn't like Freddy Krueger, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I felt everything in it.
No, it was like an end of days type of proclamation. And all of a sudden, okay, well, now I'm on Groundhog Day. I'm going to repeat.
But it was different versions of it.
Right.
Which was more traumatizing. I mean, what could it be, if anything? Asteroid, just a super volcano, or a mega earthquake? There's so many different things that can cause a mass tsunami.
Oh, absolutely.
And the earth could just be like, have a fart.
I think dreams are basically our most purest form of reality. If that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like, when we go to sleep, that's when we experience reality. If our mind allows us to see that. What we see in day to day, okay, I don't know.
How much do cats sleep?
All the time. Same with dogs.
They're just over there.
Mm-hmm.
And you got to ask yourself, what's a dog's dream? Because, by the way, they dream.
Oh,
yeah.
There's videos of the dogs. I've seen my dogs, but
dude,
they're like, they're not having
dreams all the
seizures.
time.
They're dreaming.
Yeah.
Like, some dogs are running in the dream, and you can see them kind of like,
mine will,
and then just randomly stand up and go boom right into a wall.
Yeah. Mine will be laying there, and he'll get his back feet going, and he'll be like, "Ruff, ruff." And I'll be like, catch that rabbit, boy, get that rabbit. Like, I don't know what else to tell him, because I know he's dreaming about something, and he's always chasing rabbits.
Hunting.
Hey,
Your
dude.
dog likes rabbit hunting.
Well, because out here in the tall fields of Georgia, we don't really have mice problem. We have a lot of wild brown rabbits just everywhere.
Are you
And
serious? Your dog actually hunts
Fucking
rabbits?
eat them.
he will chase them down in a heartbeat. Oh yeah, dude, rabbit boxes are common, man. That was another reason I decided to
But
quit
do
trying
you,
to raise rabbits because it's just easier to walk out back and get one. Like rabbit's delicious.
but
Fuck yeah. Awesome feather.
which one of those animals should looks like they're edible, but they're not really that edible?
Okay, well, see, people will tell you that things like armadillos and possum aren't edible, but I know plenty of people that will tell you to the contrary, many of them being Mexicans.
They are. Most people say armadillos aren't because it'll give you
A disease.
Leprosy.
leprosy. Even though I think leprosy is perceived differently, like leprosy from what we were always told was, oh, your skin falls off and this and that. I
No,
don't.
leprosy is a condition.
Yeah, I don't think
It's like
that.
cancer, but not.
You
Cancer.
shouldn't eat raccoon. It's not. It can drive you mad because like
But the
Raccoons-
backstrap,
they have
the
a really
backstrap-
bad diet.
backstraps of a
raccoons eat everything.
raccoon are a survival staple.
They are.
Just
They
the backstrap. That's all they eat. You know what I mean?
What trash?
And I like, and I won't hesitate to eat snake or turtle. Like I know how to prepare both.
What's your third question?
My third question is what fictional character would you most like to be friends with?
The Incredible Hulk.
Okay. All right. Luis.
I'm trying to think because it's a fictional mind, right? So
Sure.
what is the construct's value? Because if you can imagine anything and anyone, what would create the most potential value of that?
That sounds a lot like something an AI robot would say. I just want to point that out.
Yeah.
I mean, Rocco's Basilisk.
You're overthinking this.
No, that's what I would say.
Listen, he overthinks a lot of things. I continuously, and I'm gonna call him out on the episode too,
I
right
know.
here. I've been riding his
recipe.
butt. I'm like, man, where's my recipe, bro? You're behind.
Roscoe's Basilisk.
Roscoe's. Okay.
Look it up right now. Show what it is. It's hilarious. If
Oh
you
my
don't know
God.
what it
Is this like Shrek is love, Shrek is life?
No,
Okay.
it's a thought experiment. Roscoe's
Roscoe's
Basilisk.
Basilisk.
You're like, share the screen so you can what the it's so insane. It's the idea of a future artificial intelligence that takes over humanity, and those that help create it, they will be forever paid back in a beautiful, perfect life. And those who worked against it would live in shitholes.
I was hoping
They
there'd
can
be
fix
pictures, but
everything.
there's just the Wikipedia article.
A true super AGI would be almost the equivalent of talking to a stupid version of God.
I mean, I do tell people you're the most interesting man in the world brought to life. So
If only I got there eventually.
I don't know, it makes me wonder. So, but man, this has been a fantabulous evening. I love having you over here, Ghost Man. I appreciate you making some time to come and hang out with the crew this evening. Sorry that it was a skeleton crew, but hey, we still had fun either way.
Dude, I'm super stoked. I always love coming on here and talking to two of my favorite people that I love talking to. I got to admit, there's no shortage of conversation with you, Jim, and Luis. Come on. You sit down, you have no topic, and we pull out cow eggs kill kids. So come on.
Oh,
That's
that
right.
site's gonna be the lit. We just gotta figure out what the hell
We're
to
gonna
put
figure
in
out
it.
what to do with
I
it.
think
It'll be awesome.
I think we need to make it a product. Like this is it. And the original image of it will be like some picture he finds, a crop of
I'm
it.
gonna
The
find
actual
it.
sign will be like its ethos for the start of whatever that monster is. Maybe that's how we topple society.
One of
is
the
when we
guys
release the Epstein list inside of that web page, and people actually learn to believe in the list.
One of the guys that was in that crew that night, he a couple of years back, like before all the COVID stuff and such happened, when his old lady decided to take the kids and literally vanish. He said fuck it and sold every worldly possession he had and moved to a tiny island on the Philippines. And like going to this tiny island on the Philippines with 250 so $1,000 lets you live like a king for the rest of your life. And he's the tallest person there. He was already super tall here. I mean, I'm short, so it doesn't matter. But like, I keep up with him from time to time because he's a really cool guy. Like we've worked together throughout the years since I was a kid, just off and on at different jobs, and we used to go shooting and stuff together and whatnot like that. But he he went to the Philippines because he was just like, man, fuck all this nonsense. Like I'm just gonna go over here where I can just kind of live on this island in a tropical world while the rest of the world burns. Because he's on one of those islands that's so small, you know what I mean? Like they're not sending
I mean, have you
troops
seen
to that island.
the smallest country nations in the world? It's actually kind of interesting yet insane simultaneously.
I'm moving to New Guinea.
Papua New Guinea?
Papua
Are we
New
gonna become
Guinea?
Are we gonna become cannibals?
You're gonna go to the east or the west?
I'm going to try the East, maybe move to the West, maybe move back to the East. I'm just going to become a person modeled after Hillary Clinton. I mean, she's a cannibal.
You could go be the Papua New Guinea Rasputin. You could travel between the two and just do some dances and stuff.
I am the great ghost.
So
go
Ghost,
around
for my bunghole.
It's a big island.
Where can everybody that's watching and listening over here find you at, man?
Patreon.com/My Thier Eye podcast. Or if you want the full free hour of every episode, you can find it wherever you get a podcast. You can find me on Instagram at My Thier Eye podcast. Yeah, link trees in there, everything. So yeah, just go find me and listen, have a good time. And like I said, I do 3 separate shows under the M3E brand and possibly looking at a 4th, trying to get that up and running, and we'll see. I don't do any live content. Ryan and I are trying to find a way that we could do the cunt live. But right now, we reach out, ask people, hey, you want to call in with a question? Just pick a question. We're not going to know what it is, and we'll banter back and forth on it. So,
I'll hook you. See, I still do I don't have anything to do with it as far as the computer side of it, but I still do my live show with Vince on Saturday nights over there on the Red Pill Project, and he sent me a bunch of the programs and stuff to be able to host it in the account that he had to miss it or whatnot. But like Vince knows what he's doing, and he'd be the guy to talk to when you were trying to move on something like that, because he's totally the man behind the magic over there when it comes to Josh Reed and everything he's doing on the Red Pill Project. Like Vince is a good computer dude when it comes to this stuff. Super smart
Nice
stuff, man. So, and of course, before we get ready to sign out, I've got my last few things that I like to go through for the evening. First of which being is asking, do you guys have any final thoughts for the evening before we sign out? And since Ghost, you're joining us here this evening, I would like for you to go first.
Just check into the founder of Cash App. Just got stabbed to death, and see where that leads with the Fed coin and everything else. So
fair. Luis, you got anything for me tonight, buddy?
When the revolution starts is when the internet goes off.
Yeah.
I have one more thing.
Yeah.
Let's rape possums.
So, of course, you guys, anything we've talked about tonight that I do have links for, I'll have those links up there, and all the links to get back to Ghost and everything he's got going on, man, because it's always a fun time. And if you guys ever check in on the tavern, we totally do make appearances over there from time to time, because I like going over there to hang out with them when I got a free Friday night. It's always a blast hanging out with that crew.
Unless you're Luis, and he's either going to a concert or meeting up with a lady friend.
Hey, the lady friend has been the recent thing. I think that's what he's got going on, but I'm good. I'm glad for him.
Yeah, I'm glad too. Go get some punane.
Yeah, man. It's better than, sitting around talking to Sausage Fest all night.
Yeah. When you say, hey, I can't make the tavern because I'm meeting a girl, dude, go get it.
Right. He'll be like, I may not make it. And it's just like, just be honest, bro. Say, hey, I'm going to probably get laid, so I'm not gonna hang out with you guys tonight. And I'm gonna be like, fuck yeah, dude. Like
Right now, my dick getting wet is more important, and not going to hold you back, bro.
fair. So, but of course, you guys know we'll have all that stuff as well as when you go over to unconstitutionalawakening.com, you can answer tonight's pirate trivia question to get yourself some free Unconstitutional Awakening the podcast stickers. And I've been trying to make it easy for you guys, man. I'm giving you guys multiple choice questions, and I don't care if you Google it. Just get yourself some free stickers. That's how I'm rolling, man. I love giving stuff away. So tonight's question is: in addition to raiding many towns and enslaving many people, for what feat is Francis Drake known? Skinning an entire fleet in one battle, sailing around the world, or killing a king? And again, you can answer that A, B, C, or D, however you want to answer it over there at unconstitutionalawakening.com underneath this episode, where you'll find all those links to get back to Ghost and everything that we've talked about this evening. So I think I'm going to quit running my mouth now and we're going to weigh anchor and get on out of here. So good night, everybody.